everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Streaming Wasteland, my here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where each Friday I pick a streaming service and give you three films previously released, recommendations for you to go check out. And hopefully by the end of this episode, you have a nice full weekend of movies to go check out. And I'm focusing on AMC Plus for this week, which holds Shudder and IFC. And this streaming service is an interesting mix. It really is like a go-to place for horror films, and there's some horror on here. But there's an interesting mix as well from different perspectives, and I feel like each of these films that I picked for this week are relevant in some shape or form for right now. And I'm going to start off with a film that it's celebrating its 40th anniversary, 1985's Vampire Hunter D. And I have gotten really into anime over the last probably like 5, 6, 7 years, really diving into some great work. And this is one of those, like outside of Studio Ghibli, which it has taken like the forefront of anime. You have Akira, you have Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, and you have Vampire Hunter D. These are some of the foundational pieces of that era of 80s into early to mid 90s of just anime really taking off. And this film focuses on this mysterious vampire hunter going up against vampires and creatures. It has this great gothic kind of atmosphere. It is eerie. It has such a cool, like, climactic confrontation in this dark, dreary castle that feels so ancient. It has these great graveyard scenes, the fog, the atmosphere, and all of it. It has some interesting, like, steampunk kind of elements thrown in there here or there. But overall, Huyu Ashida, who directed this film, really craves atmosphere over the course of this 80-minute film. It has great action and tension and suspense, as it does have these horror vibes that just thread right through these elements. It's fantasy, it's science fiction. This is such an awesome genre bending experience that from start to finish, and this is so influential with so many different kinds of motifs and elements. It has this eerie kind of weird Western feel to it as well. And just the iconic Vampire Hunter D is such a cool character, just the look of him. And this is really well animated too. It has a great hand drawn animated look to it. And very few films really feel this way anymore. And it's a special experience. And I was sad that I didn't get to go check it out in theaters early this year when it had its 40th anniversary re release in theaters. But if you haven't checked it out, this is a great time. It is a really cool, engaging, and thrilling film. Now, in honor of Superman coming out, we're going to talk about one of James Gunn's earlier films back in 2010, and it is Super. This is a twisted, demented, dark, comedic superhero action film where Rainn Wilson basically plays a guy who like loses his wife, Liv Tyler, to this piece of crap, Kevin Bacon, who's definitely some kind of like criminal overlord in this town that he lives in. And he decides he's going to be a vigilante hero, and he becomes super, and he dresses up. He uses weapons because, like, this man doesn't have powers. This is like poor man's Batman. And he's dressed up in this obnoxious red suit and teams up with Libby, played by Elliot Page, and who's rambunctious. This character, Libby, she has this, I feel like it's playing on that uncomfortable connection that you can see with like Batman and Batgirl kind of thing. And like Libby has this connection with uh Super and Frank, who Rainn Wilson plays. It's darkly funny, it is twisted, it has all these unexpected and shocking twists and turns, and just its commentary on its subversive look at like modern comic book movies. You have Greg Henry and Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn. these familiar faces, even Linda Cardellini, who you see in a lot of James Gunn films. There's the Holy Avenger, this inspiration for all of this, played by Nathan Fillion, who is so fantastic in this. It's all James Gunn. It is dark, it's messed up. This was before James Gunn started moving more in a direction with like Guardians and the Suicide Squad and now Superman, when he was unleashed. He just went there and Super goes there. It is dark, it's twisted, it has some crazy elements to it. It's really James Gunn unhinged, just going for it with what he's trying to do as a director and a writer. And this is indeed his looks like his second feature film after Slither, which is side recommendation. Also a lot of fun, very subversive of creature features. This is just such an interesting watch, especially in today's context where the market in cinema is so saturated by superheroes. And lastly, here on AMC Plus, we're going to turn things back to 2002 for the original 28 Days Later, with 28 years later coming out. And I absolutely love the film. I think it's one of the best horror films that we've gotten this year and did so many things. But I think it's important to remember to go back and check out the original because this reinvented the wheel when it came to zombie films. It showed what you can do with a shoestring budget, a much smaller budget than a lot of horror films nowadays with like big IPs. Danny Boyle did something special with this film because this had an $8 million budget, which is not huge, but it wound up making $75 million worldwide, making this big impact. The haunting opening sequence where like you see this contagion getting unleashed in such a violent, visceral way, then Killian Murphy waking up to just a completely empty London is one of the most eerie things you're ever going to see in film because it doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. It feels so unnerving. And the way that Danny Boyle shot this feels so grainy, handheld VHS kind of feel, but it feels so gritty and intense and just has this vibe. Alex Garland, impressive screenplay that he wrote for this, where this has become such a cliche at this point, but the real monsters aren't the zombies. It's us, the people, and how we respond to such situations. Killian Murphy portrays such a great protagonist that we connect with. And Naomi Harris is great here. Chris Eccleston as Major West, who when we get more to like the third act of this film and really see the dark places that humanity has gone, Brendan Gleeson is fantastic in this and has such a shocking and just rip your heart out kind of moment in this film. The zombies sprint, they're terrifying. This film is terrifying. It is intense from start to end. It has great atmosphere. It has a distinct feel. It feels like punk rock kind of filmmaking, that guerrilla grungy kind of just, we're down in the gutter making this film, and it has that look to it. It has such a distinct look to it. It made me so happy that they were able to channel that kind of feel, obviously feeling more modern with a bigger budget for 28 years later. But 28 years later is such a great continuation of the unnerving world that is set up in this film by Boyle and Garland, who are such an amazing writer director pairing. And Garland obviously has gone on to make some great films as a director as well, but he really has a great relationship with Danny Boyle, and they delivered something haunting, nerving, special, so visceral, and shocking from start to finish. This is a special film. But that's a wrap here on this episode of the Streaming Wasteland. Let's give a little summation. So, here on AMC Plus, you could check out 1985's Vampire Hunter D, 2010's Super, and 2002's 28 Days Later. And thank you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What are some of your favorite, like, important anime that you feel like really captures the genre, the medium? How about what's your favorite James Gunn film at this point? He's had quite a handful at this point. And what's your favorite zombie film? And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. And we have some great shows with all types of different focus and everything. And if you want to join the crew as a guest or starting your own podcast, please feel free to reach out to us on our website. And if you like our logo, check out High Flyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the streaming wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.